Hello everybody, this is Podcast Therapy. My name's Tom Piercy.
And I'm Mick Ambrose.
And we're going to be covering, the first episode today, so...
Our first ever Podcast Therapy episode. Cool,
Wow.
the pressure is on.
Tell me
the
about
pressure
it.
is on.
Yeah.
But let's, we're going to get comfy. It's going to be a good show, I hope. It's going to be a good show,
It'll be
isn't
a
it?
great show, is what it's going to be.
So, what are we going to be talking about in today's episode, Tom?
A few different things. We're going to cover some tech, cover some sport as well, but I really want to kick things off with a hot topic. iPhone 11.
iPhone 11.
Before we go on, I want to be as unbiased as we can. Tell everybody what phone you have anyway,
So
brand wise.
I'm currently running Android with the OnePlus 6T.
Mm-hmm.
And you, my friend, are an Apple user, aren't
Yes, I have an iPhone 10. So I want everyone to realise that this will be as unbiased as possible. But
Yeah.
I just don't like the iPhone 11. I don't like the iPhone 11 Pro. I think the back of it looks vile.
Yeah, so I think this year with the new Apple lineup, I mean the keynote this year was very boring in my opinion. Yeah, they're doing some more things with the new iPad has been updated. Boring as hell. New Apple TV, which is going to rival the new Disney TV thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's possibly because it's only going to be $4.99 a month. But go on to the iPhone 11. I don't see it doing incredibly well.
I really don't like the back of it. So I know people talked about, I can't remember what the word for it is, people are scared of these holes or whatever. I'm certainly not scared of holes, but even just looking at the Pro with the 3 dots, it reminded me of two things. One, the goggles from Splinter Cell on Sam Fisher. That's what it reminded me of, like the 1, 2, 3. And also...
Gaming reference.
Yeah, but it also didn't look aesthetically pleasing, in my opinion. It didn't look
great. I think the square camera bump, and this is something that Huawei did not too long ago on their Mate series, and I don't think the square camera bump looks attractive at all. It raises the phone on that corner quite a lot. I mean, yeah, it's probably reduced when you put a case on it. And we've known for quite a while. I mean, the rumours have been quite accurate in terms of what this device is going to look like. But the iPhone 11, I just don't. It's not a massive redesign. I mean, you still got that big, massive notch at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got smartphones now that are pretty much all display.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my 6T, yeah, it's got a teardrop notch on it. But the new OnePlus 7 Pro is pretty much 100% display. I think it's got a display to body ratio of like 93% or higher than that. So
quite high.
Yeah, quite high. Yeah, not. I just don't like the look of it.
Although on the flip side of that, perhaps it's been very, very clever with the pricing point, which is a point we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. So the pricing, what interests me is that I now feel like the 10R is going to be the sweet spot because that price is going to come down, and with the 11 Pro and the 11 Pro Max, those phones are sitting at the £1,000 and the £1,100 dollar respective as well price point. Whereas the iPhone 11 is going to be like $699, which for an iPhone it's not horrendous at the moment.
No, I don't think so. And I think when the XR came out, what was that? $749 was the price point, something like that for the entry level.
Yeah, I think it was around. I think it was $699.
$699.
Yeah, last year. Yeah,
and that did incredibly well. I know several people that got that were very impressed with it. LCD screen or not, were extremely impressed with it.
Liquid Retina.
Yeah, liquid.
Liquid Retina. To be fair, like even though it's not a 1080p panel, I mean it's something that I went in on Apple on my other YouTube channel all about tech, about the display, about how they're charging £650 for a display that isn't even 1080p. But in a screen of that size, the human eye it's really hard to tell that difference in the first place.
Yeah, I don't think the users were. I don't think anyway. To be honest, when I saw it, so my brother has one, and when I saw it, I'll be honest with you, I was like, it looks it didn't put me off at all. It was only when you really, really close looked at my 10 compared to the XL that maybe you saw a slight difference. It really was unrecognisable, especially when you're using it and things are constantly on the move. It wasn't a massive thing. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they get on. I think you're absolutely right. Forgive me, I can't remember the source of what it was. I was looking the other day, and I think per unit, Samsung are currently top for mobile phones shifted. Apple are actually below them, and I think this is perhaps them trying to get back into the game of shifting more units. Just purely to get it out to the masses again, and make the iPhone the most popular phone on the market again.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of their revenue, I mean that's what Apple have always been really good at, because their phones have just always been really overpriced.
Good though.
Good, yes.
Can't say they haven't been good. Like
for me, I'm an Android person. I'm not into iOS purely because of the fact that I want to be able to do what I want with my phone. I don't like being restricted to what's on the App Store. Every iPhone I've owned since turning 18, and I've owned 3 iPhones since turning 18. That's 7 years for those that are trying to guess my age. I've jailbroken every single one of them because I hate the fact that I can't do what I want with it.
For sure. And I think for someone like you who's a very customizable person, like you like doing everything your own way, you see you want this, that, the other. If there's a colour they don't do red, you want red, you'll make it happen. But I think for people like, my parents, for example, even my grandparents all use Apple products, and they are user-friendly, and they can use iPads, use iPhones, and I think they're just very easy to use.
Yeah. They have that user-friendly ecosystem going with them around all their products. And I know people that only have the iPhone because of the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing that compares to the Apple Watch at the moment.
Yeah.
You got the Samsung Galaxy Gear. I've just got myself the Amazfit GTR from Xiaomi. I'm very much into my Chinese tech. I love importing stuff. It's just one of the things. It's my guilty pleasure,
and it's doing the business as well, isn't it? That
it was £120.
It's good.
And so far I'm really enjoying it. It's got all the fitness stuff. It's not Google. It's not Wear OS. It's not Google's own operating system. It's like Xiaomi's own one.
Okay.
Well, I say Xiaomi. It's Huami, which are owned by Xiaomi. It's very confusing. But yeah, the Apple ecosystem is why it's so popular.
Yeah.
People that are religious Apple fans have their laptop is a MacBook, their smartwatch is an Apple Watch, their phone is a iPhone.
And I think there's 2 parts to play with that. I think you've got the argument that, well, one, everything's Apple, it's really easy to use, why would I use anything else? But for some people, actually, it's a little bit annoying. Like if you take some of the Android smartwatches, like the one on your wrist, only have around 80% compatibility with some of the iPhones. You can't do, I don't think you can do calls or text messages with it. And I think some people don't like that if you have to have an Apple product, everything around you as well has to be Apple.
Yeah.
And I can see the frustration for some people there and why it would swing people away.
Because of how pricey it is.
Yeah.
You add, you're getting probably the best ecosystem, but you're paying
top dollar.
Absolute top dollar for it, which wants me to bring on to the next piece of tech kind of news that I know you wanted to talk about, and that was the Galaxy Fold. They've made a revision to it.
Yes.
Because the first revision got absolutely slated by pretty much every tech YouTuber out there. Because they were breaking. Yeah,
they were, and they were breaking at a phenomenal rate. Like 1 day of use, we all saw it on Twitter and other things. And I think Marcus Brownlee covered it and said he was trying to pull off a film, and now that was completely ruined.
If you want to subscribe to us, Marcus, that would be absolutely fantastic.
Marcus is good. I like Marcus. Marcus is great. His content, I don't personally know him, but his content's fantastic.
He's just a great guy.
Yeah, what a guy.
I know him so well.
But to be fair, they've made a lot of changes. It looks like, and I haven't phically held one. They don't sell them in the UK. I think they're only in South Korea at the moment. But just from what I could see, they've pushed that product back out, and people seem to be getting on all right with it. I think it was more cool because it was kind of a, I know you'll argue me on this, but it's a bit of a first. I know you said there's a couple of other folding products we were talking about that I didn't know about, I'll be honest with you.
There was a very small company that actually beat the Galaxy Fold to to its launch.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that was a very expensive product from a company that not many people have heard of. So are you going to spend a couple grand on a product from a company that you don't know?
Unproven. No. It's not.
It either needs to be Apple, it either needs to be Samsung. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say Huawei, even though they're in a whole world of their own controversy with the US government at the moment.
That's a whole other topic.
That's a whole other topic. That needs its whole own episode because it's fascinating though.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the Galaxy Fold, do I think people are going to shift from smartphones to? Do I think folding phones are the next sort of phones to come to really take over the market? I don't think so. Not for a number of years yet.
No. I think it's a step. I think if you imagine something could be folded 4 times and put in your pocket like a cubable or something, or like a piece of paper, maybe. But I mean, we're a decade away from that probably.
Smartphones in its current form, they serve their use really, really well, and it's going to be very hard for people to move on to the next thing from that.
Yeah.
With folding phones, I mean, Motorola. Do you remember the Pebble?
Yes.
Was it called the Pebble or was it the
Razor?
Razor?
About the V3, the V3 Razor.
Yeah, the Razor.
Yeah.
So they're making another one of those.
Really?
Yeah,
I loved that phone.
Smartphone version.
Oh wow.
It's going to be all display.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just going to fold in the middle, and it's going to look like that shape, and that it's going to be like when it's folded out, it's going to look like a normal smartphone. But then when it's folded, it's about that big. It's ultra portable. I'll see if I can put a picture on the screen now of the first sort of designs for it.
You go,
Ding.
Looks good, right?
Yeah.
We agree.
Yeah, it looks really good. I mean, we can't see it as of talking to you right now.
We've got imagination. Yeah, it's fine.
We have a laptop which has gone to sleep mode. But
we digress.
Yeah, we digress. So yeah, that's our thoughts on the iPhone 11, the new Galaxy Fold. Any other tech news that pops to mind?
I'll be honest, not really. I'm pretty happy with that. If I'm honest, have you got anything you wanna add, or anything you've seen, or?
I mean, at the moment, the only other sort of phone that I feel, well, being an absolute techie, being a gamer, being that sort of person. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys have seen it yet, but the brand new Asus ROG Phone 2, that thing is just an absolute monster in terms of specs. Okay. I know, again, you say Marcus Brownlee.
Yeah.
He's literally just released his video on the Asus ROG Phone 2, and the spec sheet is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you got the new Snapdragon 855 Plus, which I think it's got like a 20% overclock on the original original core count. You've got you're smiling.
I'm smiling because it's like you're talking French. I'm nodding away like, yeah, I totally agree. I have no idea. I need to watch this video. But sorry, as you were, people out there will know what you're talking about. I'm a bit of a tech noob, so.
RAM, you know RAM, don't you?
I know what RAM is.
12 gigs of RAM.
Okay, that's a lot.
Absolutely ridiculous.
It's more than what's in my laptop. That's a lot.
This laptop here has 16 gigs of RAM. 12 gigs of RAM with up to 1 terabyte of internal UFS 3.0 storage, and that is super fast storage as well. So the phone, not only with that CPU and RAM, but with that super fast storage as well, it is going to fly through tasks, and it's going to multitask really well. And it's made primarily for gamers. I mean, the design is very game orientated. I know it's not going to tickle a lot of people's fancy.
No,
it's a very specific phone for a very specific kind of user, because it's got RGB on the back of it and it glows and it looks very gamer orientated. But yeah, that thing is the king of specs at the moment. I really want one, but at the same time, my OnePlus 6T, I got it when it first came out, and it is the best phone I've ever used.
Yeah,
it is still as snappy and quick as when I bought it brand new.
Wow, how old is it?
What have you using it for? Last year.
Oh, okay, so more than 12 months old, and it's still really, really quick.
Yeah. I'm a year into my contract, so that's when I got it, and it's been out longer than that. Obviously, I reviewed one.
Yeah.
And gave it away on a giveaway on the other channel, but yeah, it's been a really good phone.
Yeah.
a really good phone, the best phone I've ever owned. And I think as much as I like to chop and change my phones all the time, I think I'll probably stick with that until the end of my contract because there's absolutely no reason for me to change.
Fantastic. That's good.
Yeah.
It's a solid phone.
Yeah, it's a solid phone. It's a solid phone. And I think for the price point that phones are getting at right now as well.
Yeah.
There are many brands coming out of China especially that are going global. Like Xiaomi have just launched in the UK recently. You got OnePlus that they've been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say Huawei. I've just said Huawei. Yeah, they make good phones. With the controversy, I'm not sure. But that's a whole nother topic. So, so that's been the tech segment of today's podcast therapy show.
I quite like session actually. It does make it sound like real. I was thinking more along the lines of it makes it sound like real therapy. It gives people a break from their everyday lives. And
we're going to be exploring the latest sport news next.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Right, so welcome back to the next segment of the show. We're going to be talking about sports, and the first sport we're going to be talking about is boxing. So, KSI, Logan Paul, round 2.
Yeah.
Staples Center,
yeah.
LA.
20,000. Massive
It
event.
will be sold out.
Oh, 100%. And you'll do so many numbers on the pay-per-view buys. Like, they were saying before, you may well have seen the press conference. Did you watch it on the 14th September? See the highlights at least?
I mean, we just had a bit of a recap.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they love to trash talk, don't they? I mean, they're making the absolute most of this run-up to the fight in terms of getting people hyped.
Of course.
I mean, if we talk about the first fight, I know we share a lot of the same views. We both think that JJ edged it at the end.
The crazy thing is, I don't think JJ was the better fighter. That I've got to be completely honest here. And by the way, none of us share any sort of like, loyalty to either one of those guys in terms of who we want to win. We just wanted to watch a fight. That was it. I thought for the first 2 rounds, Logan pissed it. It wasn't even an effort. Every time he got close, he just kept him at bay with that jab, popped him every time, was hitting the money 80% of the time, and he wasn't getting close. And for some reason, via round 3 or whatever, didn't have anything left. It was almost like, I got a bit tired now.
That sort of thing may have been down to the fact that he hadn't been training for a very long time.
I agree.
It was very, well, do I say short notice for him? I mean, maybe not in terms of getting ready for that one fight, but that was Logan's first ever fight. Yeah,
and I mean, it's certainly first boxing match for sure. And the thing is as well, let's not forget that JJ did have one previous. Trained a lot for that, a lot of practice. Probably had over 6 months worth of training on Logan. And considering just how much time Logan had in the first fight, he probably had a big experience. So well. He did great. Yeah. And I honestly think for the rematch, if he is just as prepared as we all think he is, he's going to do it.
Yeah,
I honestly think Logan will do it.
Not just do it on points either. He may even knock him out. 10-ounce gloves, no headgear.
Yeah,
I think it's totally doable.
But again, see, that plays a very interesting part in the psyche as well of it all. Because before they had headgear on, I think they had like 14-ounce gloves on. They're like, still big gloves, but now someone's going to sleep if you hit them right on the chin with the right hand.
And that could come from either of them.
It could, yeah. But all I'd say is if Logan goes out there and tries to knock him out for 2 minutes with the right hand, he could just be tired again, and then JJ will just go in for the kill. So it depends. I reckon the job should be for Logan personally. If I'm talking to him, somebody's only seen him fighting once. Bear in mind, I haven't seen how he's improved. Keep him at bay, keep him at distance, hold that reach, jab, and just see it out. Everything else will come in time. JJ needs to get stuck in.
I think Logan's got a slight reach advantage.
Yeah.
JJ as well.
I think I said it was 4 inches, 5 inches, or 3 or 4 inches, something like that. But you should see that from the first fight. Although I think JJ won, JJ showed grit, showed heart, showed determination, and just got stuck in. He might do that from the offset. He might think, actually, I'm not going to let this guy jab my head off. I'm going to go towards him like a pendulum, and I'm just going to swing.
Yeah, he'll come out and swing.
So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, for sure.
Who do you want to win?
I honestly don't mind.
No,
I
no,
don't. I really don't.
I'm just there to see a fight. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to see a good fight. And that brings me on to the next thing in regards to this fight, and that's how it's being promoted. So
Yeah.
Eddie Hearn from Matchroom,
Yes.
he's promoting the fight. He said in the press conference that he wanted to stay as far away as possible in the first fight because he didn't approve of it or anything like that.
Yeah.
And the two fighters have gone professional for this fight so that they could go without the headgear, wear the 10-ounce gloves. And with Eddie Hearn promoting it, I mean, it's going to make a lot of money.
Oh, 100%. And let's not forget, before we even bring Matchroom Boxing, Eddie Hearn, everything into the equation,
It made a lot of money.
yeah, it did. 1.3 million pay-per-view buys, right? Just to put that into perspective, there are world champions that make nowhere near those kind of numbers for stacked cards of professional fighters. I think you've seen fighters like Tyson Fury. We'll get to him as well. He had a good fight.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury said it was a good thing. And so I totally agree. I think it's great for the sport of boxing. Anthony Joshua came out and said it was great for the sport of boxing. And it is great because it grows the sport. It pushes people towards, the
It gets
beauty of it all.
a lot of a younger audience into it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hopefully they see past all the trash talk and the spiteful words and see how good the sport can be and how exciting it can be as well. But hopefully they'll watch all the undercard. And apparently the undercard is going to be stacked with perhaps world champions, even certainly world level fighters, but world champions on the undercard of these two guys.
Imagine being one of those guys, either Logan or JJ, and you're the main card, and you got these world professional boxers fighting underneath them.
I suppose there's two ways to look at that. There's one that says you either take it, especially if you're the world level fighter, as an insult, which I don't think they would. Maybe they would, or you take it as an opportunity for serious exposure. So again, I'm just replaying what was said in the press conference, but it says they have a combined audience of 40 million people. They will box their entire life, some of these guys, and they will never hit those they will never even see those kind of people.
No.
Never have that exposure. And I think it's just a great opportunity.
It's
honestly.
a whole different audience.
Really is.
Yeah.
Really, really is. You could capture
It's a great
mega
opportunity
amounts.
for anyone fighting on that undercard.
Yeah, I agree.
For not only for exposure in terms of boxing, but in terms of just their reach into different audiences.
Yeah,
I was trying to get the words out, because you're if you're a boxer, it's not just it's your brand.
Yeah.
You're your own brand. You
Absolutely.
need to promote yourself in as good as way as possible.
Yeah.
You need to produce content because it's all well and good being a professional boxer, making a good amount of money whilst you're fighting. But then what happens if you take quite a heavy knock and you can't fight for a long time? And you still want to have that audience there by you.
Yeah, and your body's your livelihood, isn't it? And in that regard, like when you're a fighter, how you make money effectively is go out there and putting yourself in harm's way. That's just that's the sport. And of course, let's take that to when they retire. Let's say a good fighter let's say they retire with a decent record, made a decent chunk at 35, something like that.
Yeah, maybe do coaching afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. They continue in their profession. We've seen it so many times before. Andre Ward, pound for pound best fighter in the world, retires at 31 years old with I think it was 31-0, something like that. Decided, I'm out. It's like, wow. But he already had the brand of Andre Ward. Don't get me wrong, he had a massive pedigree behind him, gold medal, undisputed world champion, all these other things as well. But the point is the platform. That's what we're getting across.
There's so many fighters though that they really keep themselves to themselves.
Yeah.
And then when they do retire, they've not got that big brand. They've not got that big audience.
For sure. It's a harsh reality. Unfortunately, the people who make the most money, as always, in any sort of wealth or in the sport, they're always the 1%. Not everybody can make the same money that Anthony Joshua makes off a pay-per-view card. They just can't.
Mayweather. I mean,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
the prime
Huge.
example.
Yeah.
I mean, he's built an absolute empire purely out of the fact that he's
money.
Money
Mayweather.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. We're so in sync.
It's true though. But yeah, the platform's gonna be massive. The event's gonna be huge. Every single fighter that goes to see it, they're probably gonna do over 1 million people in the houses. And not only that, 20,000 sold out at the Staples Center. Massive. Absolutely huge. For anybody, 20,000 is big. I think Madison Square Garden, last time Anthony Joshua fought, was 25,000. When I went to see him in Cardiff, 80,000. Funcher Klitschko, 90,000. 20,000 is nothing to be sniffed at, and that's just
No,
the people
definitely
watching
not.
live. Imagine
Yeah.
all the homes you're going to go to, all the people are going to see it. It's massive.
The online audience is going to far beat some of the biggest fights ever broadcasted live. Because think about it, I mean, it's going to be pay-per-view on YouTube, which is where all this audience is in the first place.
Yeah.
How much did the first fight? How much do you have to pay for it? Was it like £6?
I think it was £6 to £7, something like that. I think that roughly translates to about $11, or whatever it did at the time. Certainly not now. Something like $9 or $10, something like that.
Good old Brexit.
Yeah.
That's a different episode.
But yeah, it's funny because they said it's also going to be streamed on DAZN, which is this massive platform that Canelo Alvarez fights on, and all these other, this what Anthony Joshua fights on, and that's then streamed, I believe, to the US and stuff like that. The platform's just huge. It's going to be a massive opportunity for every single fighter, and it really wouldn't surprise me if as many people as possible were really trying to push this, because it's just great for the sport.
Definitely. Moving on.
Yeah.
Another fight that we need to talk about.
Great fight.
That was Tyson Fury and Otto.
Yeah. Otto Wallin, yeah. He was an undefeated fighter from Sweden. Came to fight
20
Tyson.
20 was he at the time?
I think he might have even been 21-0. I'd have to check to be certain. But it wasn't the fight that everyone perhaps thought it was going to be. The wonderful thing about boxing, especially heavyweight boxing, as you saw with Joshua against Ruiz, anything can happen. Like
at heavyweight level, anyone in the heavyweight division could knock anyone out.
Yeah.
All it takes is that one punch.
Absolutely.
And look at the Joshua Ruiz fight. Ruiz got Joshua with that one punch.
Yeah, and it did him for the rest.
Joshua was done for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Tyson Fury. But I mean, honestly, the heart. You got the heart, the determination, just the grit to sit there with one eye. Bite down and just swing. That's it.
It was a nasty cut that he got just above his right eye.
Yeah, so it was a left hook. He was in the corner, I believe it was a left hook, and I want to say then in the third round, and it opened up this monster gash.
Yeah, it looked like a shark mouth.
It was huge. It was
yeah. His eyebrow just split open.
Yeah,
it was like the mouth wanted to talk to people. And when did that? That was what, third round?
Third round.
Yeah. So
it was third round.
He played. He boxed for 9 more rounds with that cut. And let's face the fact that there are some referees out there with that, or doctors that would have called it.
It was very close to being stopped, I believe. I think it was they had a look at it several times, because it's just a big cut. I'm sure he must have had stitches.
It was massive.
Yeah, it was absolutely huge. And not only that, what we're forgetting that people didn't see was that they then knocked heads later on, and there was another cut along the same eye, and he pretty much fought like this for the whole, from round 3 onwards. He just closed his eye and just bit through. It must have been difficult.
And he still came back and won. Yeah, he won on points. But
win's a win.
Win's a win. Still undefeated. The Gypsy King.
Lineal heavyweight champion of the world.
And
good stuff.
And it's going to be interesting when the Wilder fight does go ahead and happen. It's already been confirmed, isn't it?
I think it's still in pre-stages, or it's yet to be confirmed properly. I think February was the time they're looking at. All the rumours point towards.
I mean, it's
just
after
after the
New
Year.
He might need surgery.
Possibly.
For that.
You never know.
What was it on an article I read? 40 stitches.
40.
That he already had to have in the eye. I mean, we'll show a graphic. Of how the eye looked. It literally looks like a shark's mouth. I kid you not. But yeah. That was that fight.
Well, no, there is more to say as well. Something that I didn't like was that he's chosen his trainer, Ben Davison. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And
are we going to be talking about what Tyson Fury's dad has been saying?
Well, no. I mean, to be fair, let's not forget, Tyson Fury's dad he trained him all the way up to the Klitschko fight. His son is a world champion. Right, it's not only that his dad knows his stuff. This isn't, it's not like he knows his stuff. All I'd say is that maybe not him, but like some other people are turning around and going, you need to sack your trainer. He's not experienced enough. These are the same people that said this to Anthony Joshua after he lost to Andy Ruiz. Okay, about Rob McCracken. This is Anthony Joshua's trainer. One fight. One punch. It's all it takes.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't,
for that nasty gash.
Yeah. You can't. When you look at his previous, how he performed, and not only that, how he came. Let's talk about Tyson Fury for just a second. How he came back when he fought Wilder for the first time. Okay, and he got hit. He hit the deck in the 12th. Pretty much just went, Hold on, we're boxing.
It
Stood
literally
up.
reminded me of
Creed.
WWE where
Yeah.
The Undertaker pretends to be knocked out.
Yeah.
I know wrestling is like fake as, but when The Undertaker is just led there, then he just sits up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Gets up, tombstone pole drives the guy and wins.
Yeah. It's true.
And Tyson Fury literally raised from Rose. The grammar police
raised?
is out.
I don't know. Anyway, raised. Let's just say raised. He leapt up, didn't he? And he beat the count. And sorry, we were just talking about the trainer. I just think it's unfair to completely criticise a guy over, and say that you need to do this, that, the other over just one fight. And as well, they did this with Rob McCracken. Anthony Joshua turned around and said, well, I won a gold medal. I won world titles. We beat Klitschko in front of 90,000. We've defended the belts X amount of times. We're going to rematch with the same team. Okay?
At the very least, yeah.
Yeah, you can't. It's the age-old thing.
It's one fight.
Yeah, exactly. And if you compare it to football, I mean, you look at how Manchester United have gone through managers at the time, and they're giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer time now. Could you imagine if they sacked him in the first 3 games? They were like, actually, nah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still to be proven, but but yeah, it was a great time for boxing. It's good. I'm just excited for it. It's going to continue now into the new year. It's wicked. We've good.
Got the Joshua Ruiz rematch
on your birthday.
On my birthday, yeah, 7th of December.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We'll do something for that. I'll be alright.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll broadcast it live.
Ooh, live.
Yeah, and then get in trouble for streaming it. Yeah. No, we'll just do a reaction live to it. But yeah, like you said, and with Tyson Fury as well, that the whole Ben
Davison.
Ben Davison. I was gonna say Ben Wallace for a second then. Don't know who that is. Like you said, it's one fight, and Ben Davison was there through a lot of his big victories.
Yeah. I mean,
in recent times.
Yeah, for sure. Well, a couple. I think he won the Wilder fight as well. I'm just going to say that. For me personally, he won. You might hate me for that.
No, but
I think he won.
A lot of the big boxing critics said that Tyson outboxed Wilder.
Yeah, and I think he did. It's just the truth. I only had Wilder winning
Tyson
3
got
rounds
knocked down
or
a couple times, and
yeah. But I think people forget, right? Although we're looking in boxing, you're looking to knock the other person out. It isn't who can put someone else on the floor the most times.
No, it's who can score the most points.
Exactly that. Yeah. And I think Tyson Fury did that.
And if you can knock him out, you can knock him out.
Yeah.
But that's why you look at all, like, especially if you go down the divisions, there's nowhere near as many knockouts happening, and it's all happening not all of it, obviously. But there's a lot of points victories.
Yeah, there's different ways to win, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You can win by knockout, you can win by points, or TKO even, which is when someone's not necessarily out, but they're out of the fight and defending themselves.
Tyson Fury has a great boxing ability.
Oh yeah, probably maybe the best in the world.
Deontay Wilder is very much a heavy hitter.
Yeah, probably the hardest.
Yeah, but not. He's not as good of his footwork isn't as good as I mean, you look at Tyson Fury's footwork. I mean, you wouldn't expect the guy of that size to be so nimble on his feet.
Yeah. His movement is absolutely spectacular. Head movement, like feet movement. Yeah. He can fight both stances as well. Southpaw, orthodox. He mix it up. And I hope this doesn't sound like I'm being all biased because Tyson Fury's from the UK. Deontay Wilder's still a phenomenal fighter, right? Without a doubt. But you absolutely. I don't think he's not as technically gifted as Tyson Fury. I think that's fair to say. I think a lot of people would agree. But he probably hits harder. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's the boxing talk.
Yeah.
God, sounded like a bloody music track then. Boys. Right. So the second bit of sport that we're going to be talking about now it's got to be the Premier League, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We're only a few games into the season. Have you done your fantasy team for the year?
No.
Oh, I've done a fantasy team.
Have you? I don't really do fantasy teams, if I'm honest.
I do. I'm in a fantasy league with my girlfriend's family. Currently top of the league. Take that. Just got to rub it in online.
Yeah. Just remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's all plenty of time.
Yeah, I know, because I'm that kind of person that will do the fantasy team, be really into it for like 5 weeks, and then I just ignore it for the rest of the season and see where I finish. But yeah, title wise, who do you think is gonna take the title? And let's face it, it's gonna be between two teams. It's either gonna be Man City or it's gonna be Liverpool.
Yeah, without a doubt. I just couldn't call. I couldn't even call it. You know, if I absolutely had to, I'd probably say Manchester City, just because they just seem unplayable. But then so do Liverpool. Don't forget Liverpool Champions League winners. Incredible team at the moment. Incredible team.
Yeah.
They seem to have strength in every area, midfield, up top, you know, and defence as
Van Dijk.
well. Yeah, the guy is an absolute beast. So
I mean, he's just come off winning Player of the Year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
edging out Messi and Ronaldo.
Crazy.
But yeah, I'm very skeptical about who's going to win the league, because as much as I don't want Liverpool to win the league,
Ooh.
I think at the same
Bit of
time
bias.
I'd rather Liverpool win it than Man City.
Would you?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. But there's a reason you don't want Liverpool to win the league.
I mean,
Have you told the people-
Southampton could win the league. I'd be very happy.
See, and there lies the rub. So, so we know why, because Liverpool have a tendency to just pinch all your good players. But
If we kept hold of all of our players that Liverpool bought,
yeah,
maybe it would have been us winning the Champions League last year.
Yeah, possibly.
Oh
Definitely.
dear. But no, yeah, I think this could be Liverpool's year, and it could be Liverpool's last chance, because you've got Barcelona and Real Madrid knocking on the door for Jurgen Klopp and Salah.
Yeah.
And if they don't win anything this year, there's gonna be that chance that Klopp's gonna go.
So Klopp said he wanted a break. I read that somewhere. I want to say it was probably like Sky Sports or something. It's what it tends to be for a lot of sports news. Klopp said he wanted a break from football eventually. So I do wonder if he would jump straight into another team. Also, he's done so much building with Liverpool. It would be, I think, almost silly.
Yeah,
We just won the Champions League.
He won the Champions League last year.
Yeah.
This year, he really wants that Premier League.
Of course.
He's only that and an FA. No, it wasn't even an FA Cup, was it? That he won at Liverpool. It was a Carling Cup, wasn't it?
If I'm honest, I can't remember. I know, obviously, of course. Remember, he did the Champions League final twice.
Yeah.
Runners up once, and then obviously the win. But yeah, when you think about when he started with that team and how they were struggling to scrape into Champions League places, to then go to 2 Champions League finals on the bounce, and not only that, win one, phenomenal. The guy is a great manager. There's no disputing it at all.
No, I mean, look at that team as well. I mean,
yeah.
You've got Sadio Mane, came from Southampton. Just got to say that. I am a Southampton fan, if you haven't guessed already. But yeah, he was brilliant for Southampton. Klopp then snapped him up at then a price of like £35 million, and what a bargain that ended up being in today's market. I mean, I in some aspects think that Mane's just as good as Salah.
Yeah.
Mane has been pivotal for Liverpool for the last 2 seasons at least. And you got Firmino as well, which the three of them up top together, they just play so well. They complement each other's type of play so well. They're both all three of them are quick. Firmino you can use as a target man as well.
Yeah.
He's not the most physical of players,
Got very white teeth.
But he can hold the ball up ever so well. And the three of them together, they seem to know when they're going to make a run or when they're going to hold back, when to play the pass. I mean, the chemistry that those 3 players have is just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think they're in a similar strike force to what you used to see when it was Neymar, Suarez, Messi. Like, they are just so good. They're so linked up. They know what's going on. They know what they need to do. It just works. It's fantastic, you know. I think Salah anyway.
Yeah, I think that the only thing I'd say that gives Manchester City the advantage is how much depth they have in that squad at Man City.
Got 4 different dimensions of it, haven't they?
They've got two separate starting 11s that could easily get a Champions League space, let alone the title.
I agree.
And
Raheem Sterling, what form he's on anyway. He just
you know what? As an English person,
absolutely.
It's so good to see one of the UK's best talents
Yeah.
becoming an absolutely world dominant player.
Yeah.
He's had his controversies
Mm.
in the papers over the last couple of years, but he's been proven his doubt was wrong.
Yeah.
I remember when he first came onto the scene, it was very much just I'm gonna run straight past you.
Mm.
He was very good on the ball, was very good dribbling, but his end game, his shooting, he wasn't scoring that many goals, and now he can't stop scoring. And is
He's great.
that the result of Pep Guardiola going to Man City? Because he is a different player from when Pep Guardiola was there. Since he came, as opposed to who was the last?
I can't even. If I'm honest, I can't even remember.
That shows our podcast
Not
therapy
sure.
knowledge.
Yeah, tell me about it. Anyway,
well-
Raheem.
Yeah, we'll stick a photo of his lovely face. It wasn't the guy that looks like the statue of Art Attack.
Who's that?
Oh, I'm trying to think.
Morph.
But I'll stick a picture on the screen now. You'll see it looks like a statue from Art Attack, and only people from the UK will understand that reference.
But the point is, Raheem Sterling is just becoming a powerhouse and fast becoming it as well. Like you watch him on the international stage the other day. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know there were qualifiers perhaps against teams that aren't as good as England. You know, rankings wise, just a beast. Club level, beast performances. You know, coming through, real leader on the pitch as well. I can see him easily being England captain now, let alone in the next couple of years. He's fantastic.
Everyone was so excited for Harry Kane, but in terms of just how world class the performances are coming, Raheem Sterling is by far England's best player
At the moment, yeah.
at the moment.
I think so as well. And I think it's exciting to think about how Jordan Sancho is going to come in as well.
Oh no,
fantastic
he's been
talent.
absolutely banging him in for Dortmund.
Yeah.
For the last 2 seasons as well. He's been absolutely spectacular. But what position does he? He's a winger as well.
Usually winger, yeah. I think he's right wing. I'm pretty sure he certainly played right wing for England.
To be fair, if you stick him and Sterling on together,
well, you saw it. They linked up fantastically well. It was like they've been playing together for years. I couldn't believe it. Literally, I was watching it. I was like, these guys are, they're head and shoulders.
It's great to see more English players going abroad as well. I mean, look at Kieran Trippier on his debut game for Atletico Madrid, whips in a great cross for Morata to get a goal, setting up that beautiful goal.
And the fact that Morata's scoring now is just sensational. Like,
it's like the top 4 Premier League clubs. It's an absolute nightmare for foreign world-class players to come in, because the physicality in the Premier League is a different level, and it does sometimes get the best of players. I mean, look at Radamel Falcao. He didn't get on at Manchester United. Fernando Torres, when he went from Liverpool to Chelsea. I mean, I know that's got nothing to do with the physicality of the Premier League, but sometimes a big transfer, there's a lot of pressure on the player.
Yeah,
and 100%. Then that pressure sometimes becomes a bit too much.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the one person sticks in my mind is Di Maria. When Di Maria moved from, I believe it was Real to United, wasn't it?
United, yeah.
And he was the new number 7. He was coming through, and he just couldn't seem to adapt fully to what it was. And as soon as he went to PSG, it's phenomenal again. Clearly the talent's there. It's making that link or distinction between the English game, and if it's intensity or whatever it is, the physicality, like you say, and how it compares to those abroad. But then it's weird because there's players that really do adapt very well. We get players coming all the time that
I mean, look at Salah.
Yeah,
was at Chelsea, then got shipped off to Roma. Was it Roma?
It was Roma.
Yeah, Roma. Played very well for Roma. Came back to Liverpool and has absolutely bossed it.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, I know this was years ago, but I was one of the ones that went, why have they spent all that money on someone who can't even play? We know he can't play. And God, how wrong I was. Because
I mean, look at a player like Cuadrado. Cuadrado at Chelsea, he wasn't playing every game. I mean, fair enough. You've got the likes of Willian in your team that you have to try and get above as well to get that game time. But then the moment Cuadrado went to where was it? Was it Juventus?
Juve. Plays for Juve, yeah.
Started playing amazing again.
Yeah.
And he's a very skillful player. He's a very good player.
Definitely.
It's just the Premier League is it's different.
Yeah, I think it is.
Players, there's a big adaptation to have.
Definitely.
I mean, the climate is different as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you go to leagues like in Spain, where they play late night games because of the heat.
Yeah. So the thing is, you probably know a little bit about this, probably more than a lot of people. So when you were playing football in Spain, was there a difference in it? I know it was only friendly
at professional level.
Yeah.
When I was 9 years old. But no,
yeah. It's 30-degree heat. It's hot.
It's hot, but I mean, once you've been there for a while, you kind of adapt to it. But then moving back to the UK, it was absolutely freezing in comparison. I mean, you go on holiday, you think, oh, Jesus, this is hot. I couldn't spend all day, every day like this. But obviously, I spent 4.5 years in Spain in that climate, and you do get used to it. And then when you come out of that into a different climate, it's very hard to then adapt to it, especially the UK, because it's bloody freezing.
Do you remember how cold it was? Do you remember waking up for school and thinking...
Yeah, the early mornings in Spain are cold anyway.
Oh, they are they? Okay.
In the winter months especially, yeah.
Okay.
They can be quite cold. Not as cold as the UK, but when you're used to like 30 odd degrees every single day during the day, and then getting up for school, because school starts early in Spain, it is quite nippy in the mornings.
Yeah.
But then moving back to England, it took a long time for me to adapt back to that climate.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of players, you need to give them that time to adapt, because it can take months.
Absolutely,
It can take months for your body to adapt to the climate that you're in. Because I mean, look, if you're doing cardio training, in 30 odd degree heat every single day, your body is used to that climate. It adapts to that climate. But then if you come to the UK, it's completely different.
Yeah.
And then your body has to adapt to that. And it doesn't happen overnight.
No,
it's like when you're weight training, you don't become hench overnight.
No, I know. Otherwise I'd be a lot bigger.
but yeah, I think we've kind of gone a bit off topic there.
No, it's okay. Well, this is the fun. This is the fun of it. You know, you get to talk and tangents happen.
You can be as long as you like, and you talk about whatever you want.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
You can kind of skip to and from whichever things you want us to. That you want to listen to.
Yeah, that's the point. We could, I know it might take a little bit of work, but as we go on, if we did do, I mean, this has probably been about, 20 to half an hour now, hasn't it? It's flown by, but we could probably do little skip inserts, tell people, for example, what thing to start on for what. You know, we could do that for them, maybe.
Yeah,
that could be an idea.
Definitely.
Make things quicker.
Look at us going out of our way for you guys.
Got to go the extra mile. That's it.
Yeah, so, to finish off then, top 4 Premier League, who's it going to be for you?
City, Liverpool.
He's going City at the top.
Yeah.
You're going to say Spurs.
I am.
Spurs for 3rd.
Yeah.
But you stopped yourself. Why'd you stop yourself? You're not confident.
No, I'm going to. Spurs. Spurs are coming 3rd.
And then it's hard.
I'm going to go out on a limb here.
You're going to say who you support, aren't you?
United.
Manchester. You're from Manchester. He sounds Mancunian, doesn't he?
United. Yeah. I think.
Give it Giggsy to end this season.
Give it Giggsy to end this season. Yeah, I think United. Oh God, I pray United will make top 4. Hopefully, you know. Yeah, that's what I think. What about you?
So for me, I'm gonna go Liverpool, Man City, and then I'm gonna go Arsenal.
Ooh.
You know what?
What, considering how they played against Watford yesterday?
I know, but well, it's 3rd is either going to be Arsenal or Spurs. You can forget about Chelsea.
You never know. Chelsea got a good team.
Nah,
with Fat Frank at the helm as well. Anything could happen.
I know, but that could also be the problem. I mean, he as a manager, inexperienced.
Great player though.
Sensational player.
I personally hope he does really well. I really like Frank Lampard. I really do.
I really do hope he does really well. The only problem is that maybe he's been given too big a club too soon.
Quite possibly.
But at the same time, look at Zinedine Zidane.
Yeah.
I mean, what was Real Madrid his first management?
Yeah, pretty much. He just rocked up and was like, right, we're doing things this way now.
Left, came back. But at the same time, I mean, the Spanish league is nowhere near as cutthroat and competitive as the Premier League is.
No?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, look at the La Liga is literally Barca, Real Madrid, Atletico. and then you got some good teams in there like Valencia.
Bilbao,
You've
normally
got,
half decent, aren't they?
Bilbao are getting
Yeah.
better. Yeah, you've got Sevilla. You've got
Villarreal and Sevilla would be the
Villarreal.
two, I
Sorry,
would think.
yeah, Villarreal are a good team as well. But the competitiveness just isn't quite there for me in La Liga.
Oh, I feel
But
like
anyway, we've gone totally off topic of the Premier League.
Yeah.
So those are our top 4 predictions. That wraps up our sports segment. Let us know what you think. And yeah, so we'll kick off the next segment.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. We will talk to you soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Do that. Not like that.
Oh. Peace. Lamppost.